Nowadays, economics and capitalism are a pretty massive issue in the broader world and also in the USA. From rising inflation, to wealth inequality, to assassinating CEOs, everyone has at least one issue with capitalism. One of these people was born in the 1800s and would become one of the most important philosophers in all of history. His name was Karl Marx. You may know Karl Marx as a forefather of modern-day communism. He created the Communist Manifesto, which is probably about communism. I don't know, I haven't read it. Anyway, onto the video now. Karl Marx was born May 5th, 1818, in Trier, to a Jewish father who was a successful lawyer. Trier is right here, in Prussia, which is now Germany. Marx was raised around the time of the Industrial Revolution and saw firsthand the terrible conditions factory workers were forced to work in, which led him to believe that capitalism sucks actually, and that wealthy capitalists will make people believe that work is good, time off sucks, and consuming every mass-produced product they sell will make you happy. Wow! Thanks for the kind words, Mr. Capitalist! I'm gonna go die in a workplace accident! Marx moved to Paris in 1843, which is where all the intellectuals went after the French Revolution was over. He became involved with a small group of people who all had the same beliefs as him, specifically Friedrich Engels. Engels and Marx did some thinking and would go on to become good friends and write several books, such as The Holy Family, which analyzed and critiqued religion, the German ideology, and most importantly, the Communist Manifesto. What's the book about? I don't know, again, I didn't read it, but I think it has something to do with outlining the stages for a workers' revolution. I don't know, I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. Marx was probably smelling pretty bad, so he decided to move back to Cologne, Germany. He would go on to become the editor for the... Yeah, I'm not saying that, which was a liberal democratic newspaper. The Prussian government, however, wasn't having any of that and banned it for being too radical. And oh yeah, and they were also really anti-Semitic, so Marx was expelled back to Paris, and then he got expelled again. So we ended up in London and wrote Das Kapital. Das Kapital was a breakdown of the capitalist system, and also how Marx thought it was going to eventually destroy itself. A couple of years later, in 1883, Krakatoa erupted, and the Brooklyn Bridge was completed. What did Marx say about this? Probably not much, because Karl Marx was too busy being dead. Nobody really cared either, like 8 people went to his funeral. A couple of years later though, somebody would care. A lot, in fact. His name was Vladimir Lenin. God, I hate how he looks. Man doesn't look like he smiled a day in his life. Lenin was a revolutionary who, as you know, created the Soviet Union. Was Marx right? In a lot of ways, yes. Were any of his noteworthy followers right? No, God no. Lenin himself thought that Stalin would have too much power, and we all know where that went. Marx's writings inspired Mao Zedong, Stalin, the Kims, who all killed millions of people through starvation and hard labor, with North Korea still doing it to this day. Real quick, Google why there aren't any cats or dogs in North Korea. Marx's writings inspired Cuba to become communist, and in the height of the Cold War, well, I don't think I need to tell any of you how that almost ended.